What's up, everybody? It's the Modern Day Prophet here to do another video. This video is going to be profound autism, level 3 autism, defined by the creation matrix, or as some of you know, Mother Nature. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video today. I'm not going to it's going to be a short, sweet video where I define what autism actually is and how and why it impacts your children the way that it does. And I see so many wonderful, loving parents making so many mistakes because, and then they wonder why their child is always dysregulated, why they're having these meltdowns. It's because of you and something you're doing. It's never the autistic person's fault. They don't have these behaviors because they want to. They have these behaviors because of something that you're either doing or not doing. It's your fault. And a lot of it is because many of you have no idea what profound autism really is. And you have no idea what you're really dealing with your child. And love, motherly love is powerful, but it's not enough. There has to be some actual knowledge and understanding of level 3 autism. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to explain it right now. Now, you don't have to believe me or listen to me. Keep doing what you're doing and dealing with what you're dealing with. But if you really want the most intelligent take on level 3 autism that you're ever going to get, listen up. This goes for parents, grandparents, siblings, doctors, caretakers, whoever you are that deals with level 3 autistic people, listen up. Autism is a case. Well, let me say this. In a normal brain, the brain devotes its resources between the logical part of your brain and the emotional part of your brain, meaning you have logical intelligence and emotional intelligence. Your logical intelligence is your ability to do math, read, perform tasks, learn things. That's your logical intelligence. Your emotional intelligence, is your ability to understand, to empathize, to be positive, to love. That's your emotional intelligence. And an autistic person, the brain does not devote any resources to the emotional intelligence. That part of their brain does not work. And what the brain does instead is it devotes all of the resources to the logical part of their brain. So the emotional intelligence part of an autistic person's brain doesn't work, but the logical part of their brain is superpowered. Now, most of you, just ignore that superpowered, but it is what it is. But a lot of y'all are not even going to be able to understand that or really grasp that, or, so just ignore that part. But that's the way an autistic person's brain works. This means that an autistic person, somebody with level 3 profound severe autism, is a purely logical being. They're purely logical. They have no emotional intelligence. Now, this doesn't mean that they don't have emotions. This doesn't mean that they don't have love and anger and anxiety and all of these things. What it means is that they process logically. Everything processes logically in an autistic person's brain. There is no way for things to process emotionally. Everything processes logically. Even their senses process logically. Their speech is processed logically. Everything is logical. This is why they behave the way that they behave, because they perceive a world that's totally different from what we perceive, because their brain works totally different from how our brain works. So what logical being actually means is your child is a living, breathing supercomputer. That's what they are. Now, that might not be easy to hear or understand, but that's what they are. That's what you're dealing with. And if you don't understand and respect that, you're gonna have problems. Now, they are still living beings, even though their brain functions like a supercomputer. So like I said, They still have emotions and all of that. Now, one thing I want to tell y'all about like dysregulated behavior and meltdowns, let me say this. This is very important. Do not give your autistic child any psychoactive medicines. Anything that can interfere with how their brain works is going to cause them problems. It's going to cause seizures. It's going to cause dysregulation. It's going to cause meltdowns. It's going to cause all kinds of issues. This even applies to cannabis. You got to be very careful with anything that's psychoactive. Now, that doesn't mean you can't give them medicine like cold medicine or vitamins and supplements. You know, I would really look at things like melatonin, chamomile, things like that. You know, that's fine. But it's the psychoactive stuff you got to stay away from. I know we live in a society where they want to sell all medicines all the time, but you have to avoid the psychoactive medicines if your child is level 3 autistic. Now, let me also say, when you're dealing with an autistic child, it's all about inputs and outputs. That's what it is. It's inputs, just like a computer. A computer can't do anything on its own. There has to be an operator that does the inputting so that they can get the outputs. The autistic person is the same way. The more logical, good inputs they have, the more logical, good outputs they're going to have. Now, understand, I'm not talking about emotional inputs. Emotional inputs have no impact on an autistic person. They don't care about friendships and romance and socialization. That's not what's important for them. Now, I'm not going to really talk about that a lot in this video. I'm going to do some more videos after this one. But to put all of this in perspective, what I'm saying, let me explain to you how an autistic person says, I love you. They don't say it with their mouth. Yeah, they can say it. They can repeat it. But them saying it doesn't mean anything. Let me tell you how they actually say it. When an autistic person tries to get really close to you and put their head on your head and put their face on your face and put their body on your body, that's their way of saying I love you. They do it through touch. They do it through touch. So don't ever push them away when they're trying to get close to you like that. I don't care if you're in public. I don't care what the situation is. Don't ever push them away. Let them get close to you for as long as they want to and as long as they need to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. Like I said, I don't want this to be a long one. My next video that I'm going to make, we're going to talk about the lifespan of people with level 3 autism, because that's something that needs to be talked about, but nobody is talking about that. And that is probably the most important thing that we should be talking about in the autistic community. And I'm not talking level 1 and level 2. I'm specifically talking about people with level 3 profound severe autism. Anyway, y'all, thank you for watching the video. I love you all. Peace.